Hello, welcome back to Easy English Classroom. I'm David.
And I'm Alice.
Have you ever been lost in a new place, English speaking, and too nervous to ask anyone for help? You just keep walking in the wrong direction, hoping you'll somehow figure it out? Today, that ends. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to confidently ask a stranger for directions and even give directions yourself without freezing up. Ready to never feel lost again? This is day 5 of Speak English in 30 Days, and today we're mastering directions in English.
Honestly, this is one I really need. I get confused even understanding directions in my own language sometimes.
That's actually super common, and we'll talk about why in a moment. Today's numeric goal, 35 spoken sentences again, plus 5 direction-giving phrases you can use immediately, anywhere.
5 phrases I can use right away. I like that structure.
Let's build it together.
Okay, so here's my honest fear. Even when I ask for directions, I usually don't understand the answer. Someone says, go past the bakery, then it's on your left after the second light, and I just smile and nod, completely lost.
That is such a relatable moment, and honestly, it happens to learners and even some native speakers too. Directions move fast and they're full of small details. You're definitely not alone in feeling overwhelmed by them.
It's such a relief to hear that because I always feel embarrassed when I have to ask twice.
Asking again isn't embarrassing at all. It's actually a sign of good communication. Today, we're going to learn the small, predictable building blocks that almost every direction uses, so even fast directions become easier to follow.
Building blocks. Okay, that sounds manageable.
Very manageable. Let's start. Let's warm up. If someone asks you, "Excuse me, where's the nearest bank?" how would you start your answer?
I say, go straight.
Good, simple start. Let's upgrade it. Sure, just go straight ahead and you'll see it on your right.
Sure, just go straight ahead and you'll see it on your right.
Perfect. Next, how would you tell someone to turn at the next street?
Turn left next street.
Let's smooth that out. Take a left at the next street.
Take a left at the next street.
Excellent. Next, how would you describe a place that's very close, just a short walk?
It's really close, just a 5-minute walk from here.
It's really close, just a 5-minute walk from here. Beautiful. One more. If you don't know the way, what's a polite way to say that?
Sorry, I don't know.
Let's polish it. Sorry, I'm not from around here, so I'm not totally sure.
Sorry, I'm not from around here, so I'm not totally sure.
That phrase sounds so natural and friendly, perfect for when you genuinely don't know. Let's go deeper. Alice, what are the most common building blocks used in directions? Think about the basic actions people describe.
I think going straight, turning left or right, and maybe crossing the street.
Exactly right. Those 3 actions, go straight, turn, and cross, cover probably 90% of all directions you'll ever hear. Once you recognize those words quickly, the rest becomes much easier to follow.
That's actually a relief. I thought there were way more patterns to learn.
Nope, just those 3 plus a few landmark words. Speaking of landmarks, why do you think people use landmarks like past the bakery or next to the bank instead of just street names?
Maybe because landmarks are easier to see than reading street signs?
Exactly. Landmarks are visual anchors. They're often faster to spot than small street name signs, especially while walking or driving. That's why natural directions almost always combine both, a turn instruction plus a landmark. For example, turn right after the pharmacy.
Turn right after the pharmacy.
Perfect. Now, here's a useful grammar point. Notice we use after here to mean a landmark you pass. After the pharmacy means you keep going until that point, then turn. Compare that to before the pharmacy, which means turning earlier, before reaching it.
Oh, that's such a small word, but it completely changes the meaning.
Exactly. And that's actually one of the biggest reasons people get lost, missing a tiny word like after or before. Now, here's a useful idiom. When something is extremely easy to find, we say, you can't miss it. Like, it's right there, you can't miss it.
I've definitely heard that phrase before, but never used it myself.
Try it now. Imagine describing your favorite coffee shop's location.
It's right next to the big park. You can't miss it.
That's a perfect, natural sentence. Now, what about distances? How do English speakers usually describe how far something is?
Maybe by time, like 5 minutes away, or by blocks?
Exactly both. Time-based distance, like about 10 minutes by foot, and block-based distance, like it's 2 blocks down, are both extremely common. Try using blocks in a sentence.
The store is about 3 blocks down this street.
Wonderful. Last question for this part. What should you do if you genuinely don't understand the directions someone gave you?
I guess ask them to repeat it, or maybe ask them to point instead of explaining.
Both excellent strategies. You can say, "Sorry, could you point me in the right direction?" Pointing removes a lot of language pressure instantly.
Sorry, could you point me in the right direction?
Perfect delivery, and that's a phrase that'll save you in so many real situations. Let's practice with role plays. First scenario, asking a stranger for directions to the post office. I'll be the stranger.
Excuse me, do you know how to get to the post office from here?
Sure, just go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left at the coffee shop. It'll be right there on your right.
Got it. Straight for 2 blocks, then left at the coffee shop. Thank you so much.
That was excellent, and repeating the directions back is such a smart strategy. It confirms you understood correctly before walking off.
I didn't even plan to repeat it. It just felt natural to confirm.
That instinct will save you so many times. Second scenario. A tourist asks you for directions to the museum. I'll be the tourist. Hi, sorry to bother you, but do you know where the art museum is?
Yeah, no problem. It's about a 10-minute walk. Just head down this street, then take a right after the big church.
Right after the church, got it. Is it hard to find?
Not at all. It's a huge building. You really can't miss it.
Beautifully done. You used "you can't miss it" perfectly, and your directions were clear and well-structured.
I think giving directions actually feels easier than asking, surprisingly.
That's such an interesting realization. Makes sense since you control the information when you're the one explaining. Third scenario, you're lost on the subway and need help from a station worker. I'll be the worker. Excuse me, I think I'm a little lost. Which platform do I need for the city center?
You need platform 4, just down those stairs and to your left.
Down the stairs and to the left. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Perfect handling of a slightly stressful situation. Calm, clear, and polite the entire time.
Being lost on public transport is genuinely one of my biggest fears, so this felt really useful.
And now you have a real script ready for exactly that moment. Time for our shadowing drill. I'll say it, you repeat it. Ready?
Ready.
Excuse me, do you know how to get to the station?
Excuse me, do you know how to get to the station?
Just go straight ahead for 2 blocks.
Just go straight ahead for 2 blocks.
Take a left at the next traffic light.
Take a left at the next traffic light.
It's right next to the pharmacy. You can't miss it.
It's right next to the pharmacy. You can't miss it.
Sorry, I'm not from around here, so I'm not totally sure.
Sorry, I'm not from around here, so I'm not totally sure.
You can't miss it.
You can't miss it.
Could you point me in the right direction?
Could you point me in the right direction?
It's about 10 minutes walk from here.
It's about 10 minutes walk from here.
Turn right after the big church.
Turn right after the big church.
You need platform 4 just down those stairs.
You need platform 4 just down those stairs.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help.
That's 10 more sentences. Combined with everything today, you've spoken well over 35 sentences once again.
I actually feel ready to ask someone for directions now, which is a big deal for me.
That confidence is exactly what we're building, one day at a time.
Let's lock in today's vocabulary. First word, landmark. A noticeable building or feature used to describe location. The church is a famous landmark in this town. Your turn.
The tall clock tower is a landmark near my house.
Great example. Next, intersection. The place where two streets meet or cross. Turn left at the next intersection.
The accident happened right at a busy intersection.
Very natural. Next, block. A section of a street between two cross streets used to measure distance. It's just 2 blocks away.
My school is about 5 blocks from my apartment.
Excellent usage. Next, ahead. In front of you, in the direction you're moving. The store is just ahead of you.
I could see the bus stop just ahead of me.
Lovely sentence. Next, nearby. Close to a place, not far away. Is there a pharmacy nearby?
There's a small bakery nearby that I really love.
Very relatable. Next, lost. Not knowing where you are or how to get somewhere. I got lost on my way to the hotel.
I got completely lost the first time I visited this city.
Honest and useful. Next, platform. The area in a train station where you wait for a train. Your train leaves from platform 2.
I waited on the wrong platform and missed my train once.
That's such a real situation. Great example. Last word, appreciate. To be thankful for something someone did. I really appreciate your help.
I appreciate it when strangers take the time to help with directions.
That's a wonderful note to end the vocabulary section on. Quiz time. Question 1. What are the 3 most common building blocks used in giving directions?
The 3 building blocks are going straight, turning left or right, and crossing the street.
Excellent recall. Question 2. Why do people often use landmarks instead of just street names?
Because landmarks are easier and faster to spot visually than reading small street signs.
Perfect understanding. Question 3. What's the difference between after the pharmacy and before the pharmacy in directions?
After means you turn once you've passed it, while before means you turn earlier, before reaching it.
Great explanation. Question 4. Can you use the phrase, "you can't miss it," in your own sentence?
The bookstore has a huge red sign. You really can't miss it.
Very natural. Last question. How do you feel about asking for directions now compared to the start of the episode?
Honestly, I feel a lot more confident. Knowing the basic building blocks makes the whole thing feel much less overwhelming.
Let's close with 5 tips for mastering directions in English. Learn the 3 core action words. Go straight, turn, and cross. They appear in almost every set of directions. Listen for small connecting words like after and before. They completely change the meaning of an instruction. Don't be afraid to repeat directions back to confirm you understood correctly. It's smart, not embarrassing. If you're confused, ask someone to point instead of explain. It removes a lot of language pressure instantly. Practice giving directions yourself, not just asking. Explaining forces you to organize your thoughts clearly in English. Alice, how do you feel now compared to the beginning of today's episode?
At the start, I genuinely dreaded the idea of asking for or understanding directions, but now I actually know the basic patterns, and I feel like I could handle a real situation without panicking.
That's such a meaningful shift. Let's recap what we covered today. 1. We warmed up with direction phrases and upgraded each one. 2. We had a deep conversation about the building blocks of directions, going straight, turning, landmarks, and distances, plus a useful idiom about something being easy to find. 3. We practiced 3 real-life role plays, asking a stranger, helping a tourist, and getting help on the subway. 4. We shadowed 10 essential direction sentences. 5. We learned 8 new vocabulary words. And 6. We quizzed ourselves to lock everything in.
This episode genuinely felt practical, like something I'll use very soon in real life.
That's exactly the goal, and that's day 5 of 30 complete. If today's episode made directions feel less confusing, please like and subscribe. It helps so many more learners discover this series.
And here's your homework. Today, give directions out loud from your home to a nearby place, a shop, a park, or a friend's house, using at least 10 sentences, just like our drill today.
And leave a comment telling us what's the trickiest direction word or phrase for you. We'd love to hear it, and we might cover it in a future episode.
Next is day 6, and we're moving into something everyone deals with, shopping and asking about prices.
See you then. Keep speaking, keep shadowing. You're never really lost when you know the right words.
Bye, everyone.